Everybody, it's Sid Hameed, Brickfront Properties and Construction. Thank you so much for showing up today. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you coming here to understand some of the things I'm going to explain. And if you like the information, great. Use it for yourself, make it work for your business. And we're just going to go through some slides, and then we're going to talk about just overall like mindset. We're going to talk about business structure. You have an idea, you have a thought. How do you break it down? How do you reverse engineer everything? If your objective or your plan is to make, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000, and then how do you do that? And then how do you hire the right people to be able to put them in the right position to create the right outcome so you get the right result so you can grow the business, right? You as a CEO, right? As a CEO of the company, you got to be able to have the vision and to be able to think and see the beyond the mountains, beyond the trees, and look at Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? So my job is to live in the present moment. That's number one. Number two, I do pay attention to data and information and what's going on with Donald Trump and all the uncertainty in the market. I am in real estate. I'm a developer. I build houses. So for me, I have to look at, the tariffs and the costs that's impacting the lumber, the materials and so on. But I still got a plan. I got a plan for April, for May, for June, right? Then July, August, and September, another 90. So I look at everything in 90 days and I look at everything in seasons. And I'm going to show you guys the importance of that. But today is about, building a successful team, right? You cannot grow a business and you cannot scale and move to the next level without a team. You got to have a team. Now, it doesn't always have to be your own direct team. You could be part of a team, right? You could join a team and be a part of a team. But as you get older and scale and you learn and you grow the business and you become the CEO and you're like, hey, I'm going to hire my virtual assistant. I'm going to hire my office manager. I'm going to hire admin manager. I'm going to hire accounting, my CPA. As you start to delegate, and that's what we're going to talk about, how to delegate throughout your cycle of your business and get more time and more hours per day, right? Because we all got the same amount of hours, which is 24 hours. It's how we use them, and then how do we scale. So this right here is not just for real estate agents or real estate investors or wholesalers, but this is for everybody. I don't care what kind of business you got, a plumber, electrician, a roofer, a hair salon, you're doing lips, you're doing eyelashes, got an auto shop, you got a mechanic shop, you got a grocery store, you got a coffee shop. It doesn't matter what you have, right? It's about how to take your business from where you are, and you as a CEO of the business, you show up every morning, you put the key in the door, you open the door, and you're like, hey, this is my business, I'm here. All right, I got to make money, right? You got to think, you got to manifest like, I need an employee, I need this, I need that, because at the end of the day, being a CEO at the top could be a very, very lonely place for real. Believe me, it could be a very lonely place because you're just carrying so much, right? But you got to know how to scale and grow that thing and get there. And I'm going to show you guys how to hire your first employee or your first virtual assistant, how you could delegate and duplicate. How you could delegate and duplicate. That's the whole plan here, right? How do you get more hours? We all got 24 hours a day. How do you make it 48 hours, right? How do you triple that, right? How do you 4X that? How to get more time? By delegating the right tasks to the right people to be able to create the right income so your business could scale and grow in multiple directions. So I'm talking to all these small business owners and entrepreneurs, real estate professionals, freelancers, people got side hustle. You driving Uber, you driving Lyft, you working, you going to school, and then you're trying to figure things out. You know what? We all got ideas and brainstorms, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that you could use to mind map and to really structure this thing out. All right. So we're talking about visionaries that drive in the market. We're going to talk about ChatGPT and how to use Upworks to hire the right people. And that's what I use. And I got some of the tools open here that I'm going to go over with you guys. Right. So right now, when you're starting a business, you got an idea, you want to grow, and you're like, hey, I want to, do X, Y, and Z. You got a strategy, you got a business strategy, you got an idea, then you got risk, and then you got marketing. You got to do marketing, because how are people going to know you and know where you are, how to get to you? You got to do marketing. You got to market budget, right? You got to plan it out. You got to be able to analyze. Hey, if I put in $3,000 in marketing, can I get back, 4,000? Can I get back 5,000, 6,000, 8,000? Right? So you got to be able to analyze and quality, right? So your quality of the clients that are coming in, you got to be able to look at that. Okay, and then who are we working with? We're working right now. We are a real estate investment construction company, real estate investment and construction company. We work with a lot of homeowners that are looking to sell their house fast, and we work with a lot of homeowners that have a great property in a good area that want to renovate and increase the value and add value to the property and be able to sell it and faster at a higher price. We work with a lot of absentee owners that are in Pennsylvania, California, New York. We work with a lot of, they got an inherited property. The mom and dad passed away. Their uncle passed away in Maryland, D.C., Virginia. So we work with a lot of those guys. We do work with a lot of realtors that are professional realtors, been around for 20, 30 years. And they know me. I know a lot of realtors in the DMV area. I've actually taught about over 10,000 realtors in this area, from Keller Williams to Samson Properties to Exit Realty to my own brokerage. I had my own brokerage for years, and I had multiple, almost a couple hundred agents working for the brokerage. We were here in Largo, Maryland. So my thing is, connections and relationships and networking matters. And we do work with a lot of realtors, and we do work with a lot of homeowners. And then because we are a construction company, we also work with a lot of insurance companies, Allstate, State Farm. A lot of times homes get on fire, wind damage, water gets into the basement over the winter. You may have pipes that break. So we do work with a lot of flood and fire and wind damage. We do work with a lot of first-time home buyers that are looking to take a home and say, hey, Sid, I want to renovate this, knock this wall down. I want to add another level. I want to push the house back. I want to add another 1,000 square feet. So we do work with the first-time home buyers that want us to come in and do construction work and renovation work, right? We do work with a lot of real estate investors that are looking for professional home developers and rehabbers like us that have been around the business and have done a lot of millions of dollars. And so we do work with a lot of those guys. Now, this business mapping and planning, right? It starts with an idea, right? We're going to break it down into a workflow. We're going to show you guys how to break it down like inch by inch, like how to understand it, how the workflow works, right? And then we're going to identify the key departments. So if you got, let's just say you're one person at the moment, right? But you want operations department, you want your sales department, you want your marketing department, you want your acquisition department, you want your disposition department, you want somebody to answer your phone calls. But you got a full-time job, right? You go to a job at the United States government or some sort of corporate company, you go to a job from 8 to 5, but you want to get your business going too, right? So what we can show you is how, while you're at work at your full-time job, how you could also have, like, for example, answerfirst.com. I use a company called answerfirst.com, answer all your phone calls while you're at work. They'll pick up your call. Hello, hey, good morning. This is XYZ company. How may I help you? How can I serve you? Right? They'll get the information, get the intake form. You get the lead while you're working on your job. And then that way, none of your phone calls get missed, right? So where a lot of people make mistakes is they don't answer their phone calls, right? They don't answer their phone calls. You got to answer the phone calls. If you're going to be doing marketing on Facebook, on Google, on Instagram, you're going to be advertising, you got to be able to receive the incoming traffic and be able to answer that in a professional manner. And that's where we use answerfirst.com, and we can hook you up with our account rep. But you got to be able to answer the calls. All of my calls get answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. from a US-based call center here in Florida. No Chinese or overseas Filipinos answer my calls. They're all Americans. And I'll show you guys how to do that as well. All right. But again, you could have a full-time job and still develop your idea to one day, hey, by December 31, 2025, I'm going to be out of this job. I'm going to go full-time into my business. So right here, what we're going to be talking about is mapping things out and planning things out. Right? Define the roles, be clear on your every position. Who do you need first? Who do you need second? And how do you need to evaluate? And then what kind of entity, what kind of business you want to create? A S corporation, a C corporation, a limited liability. What kind of entity do you want to create? Right? Most of you guys will create a basic LLC corporation, right? LLC. If you're a sole entrepreneur, right? You don't have no members, no partners. If you got partners and you got members involved, then you got to say, hey, Tyrone owns 25%, Stacy owns 19%, I own the 38%. You got to be able to break that down. Member one, member two, member three, who's the treasurer, who's the main member. So all those things matter. Doing partnerships with people, especially families, please be careful. I'm just saying, be careful. It doesn't always work out. It sounds good in the beginning. Mom and dad, family, your brothers, your sister, your cousin want to jump in. Hey, I got you. I'll give you $100,000. But it doesn't always work that way, right? So be careful who you go into a partnership with. Know the chemistry, the energy, the vibes. Are you going to be able to communicate with them, when there's a difficulty? Are they going to be able to hold up their bargain as things, go up and down in the business? Because business don't always go up, right? There's ups and then there's downs. And then can they handle the pressure when you're down? So understand your structure on how you're going to set it up. Talk to your CPA. Talk to ChatGPT. Understand exactly what you want to do. It'll tell you exactly how to set it up, right? A CEO mindset, right? For example, as a CEO of the business, regardless if you're like $0 and you just got an idea, you're not making any money, but you're a CEO, position yourself that way. Look at yourself that way. Understand yourself that way. Carry yourself that way, right? Your attitude, your body language, your mindset, all that matters. Your focus matters. Your vision matters, right? Go have, like for me, a pen and paper, right? A pen and paper, like I'm always constantly writing things down and developing and growing, right? So version 1.0, right? Put it on paper, just drop it, break it down, and split it up, right? This is administration, this is accounting, this is payroll. I need to hire this virtual assistant to do marketing. I need this virtual assistant to make phone calls. I need this person to go pass off flyers and direct mails. So break out your duties, and we'll talk about that. Version 1 is just to get started, right? Get the idea out there. Good, bad, or ugly, it don't matter. The key is to get it out there, right? Version 2.0 is to improve it and tweak it and modify and say, look, that didn't work so well, but here's what we're going to do. Here's what we learned from it. And so what we're going to do and how to fix it. And then you go back, you put it back out there, and then you get some more results. You bring it back. You're like, okay, version 3.0. Hey, look, this did better than 1.0, but we're still going to tweak it. Still got to modify it. You got to understand, a plane from New York to California, it don't go straight, right? It don't go straight. It has to course correct to get to California because of the weather elements and stuff. You're always course correcting in life. Bottom line, relationships, you're course correcting. Business, you're course correcting. Making your money, you're course correcting. Relationship with your customers, you're course correcting. Marketing, advertising, branding, you're course correcting. You're always course correcting because there's new ideas, new thoughts, new information, new technology, new platforms. You're always course correcting. But your principle and your mission statement, you have to stick to the core. You got to create your core statement and your mission statement. Even though there's all these things going on, there's a lot of noise. You can't grab every shiny object and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. No, stick to your core and just develop slowly, right? Like a turtle, right? Just develop slowly like a turtle. You ain't gotta be a rabbit, jump around everywhere. No, slow down, just relax, be patient, and things will work out, right? But just inch by inch, anything's a cinch. Inch by inch, anything is a cinch. All right, using Upwork to find freelancers. And these are some of the criteria and the filters that I use in terms of job success, number of hours they've been billed, their number of earnings. I'm going to show you guys how to filter that out. And I have it open right here. I have it open. I'm going to show you guys how I do this and how I hire my people from this platform as I need to be able to delegate and duplicate, right? Delegate, because I only got 24 hours, just like you guys, right? So I'm going to show you how to get more time and then how to move forward. While you're at your full-time job or your part-time job, you got somebody working for you on your business while you're doing other things. We'll talk about that. All right. The hiring strategy, like what do I look for? How do I hire people? How do I break them down? What am I thinking? There's always improvement to grow. And I look for people that have scalability, but they got the attitude and the willingness to work, right? The main thing is, are they willing to work, right? Are they willing to go learn? Are they willing to adapt? Are they willing to go figure things out? Are they willing to go and see a problem, say, hey, I need a solution. I'm going to go figure this out for my boss, for my manager, for the guy that pays me, right? So you got to have people that knows how to figure things out. People that already have a track record, right? Hire a virtual assistant first to free up your time. Again, we want to duplicate and we want to delegate, right? Duplicate and delegate. So if you say, hey, I'm going to set a $400 budget, right? Week 1, $100, week 2, $100, week 3, $100, week 4. I'm going to set a $400 budget. I'm going to hire a virtual assistant to help me do X, Y, and Z for this month of May 2025. And then once I get this done, then I'm going to hire a virtual assistant to do X, Y, and Z for the month of June and July and August. So small bites. You hire the right people for the right tasks to get the right things done to scale your business. Now, once you get your foundation together, your IRS number, your tax ID number, your federal government number, your state of Maryland number, you get all these things together, and then you can start to create diagrams or mind maps and schedules in terms of how do you follow up, how do you nurture on your leads, how do you control the leads, how do you and then how do you interview the people, right? So for example, I have a job posting right now as we talk on Upworks. I'm looking to hire some people to do my construction budget, right? So I get a lot of construction leads and I go out and I say, hey man, I need somebody to do my work for me. And this is, and I set up interviews, but I do it like basically on a Friday, and I try to get everybody on there at the same time. And I'll show you guys on how to do the interview process and then how to delegate to the right people and how to qualify them. Because, you're a small business. You can't afford to lose money. So you got to make sure you hire the right person to be able to get the right outcome out of your business, right? So we're going to talk about that. Show you how it's done and show you how to do the interview process. I do it on Fridays from 10 to 12. Use the categories to organize your candidates. I'm going to show you guys how, for example, when I come in here, I have my candidates that I've been searching for quite some time, and I've been using this for years. And what I do is I create categories. And so I have particular categories that when I like somebody or need somebody, I'll come and put them in a category. And then, I have to go back and I say, I'm looking for a architect. I'm looking for a designer. Then I go back to my categories that I save the talent. And then, I look at that instead of doing the research all over again, right? So I'll show you guys how to do that. All right, we got 7:20. We got 37 minutes total. We got to break it down. All right, business startup logistics. We'll cover how to register the business, the federal ID number, tax ID number, all that. There's websites that we're going to give you guys, and we're going to share with you the resources where you could go and register your company. And getting your EI number is free, and doing the state Maryland registration is also free. And we're going to show you guys how to do that. And now here's a project that we did in Indian, Maryland. And this is some of the before pictures of the project. And this is some of the during pictures. You know, we're a construction company, we're a renovation company, investment company. And here are some of the finished pictures of the product, right? This is what it looks like afterwards when we got done. All right. So this is what we do. We buy, we fix, and we sell. We buy, we fix, and we sell. And then we're going to give you these links to go and get your EI number to get started. And then go to, if you stay in Maryland or stay in DC or Virginia or West Virginia or Kentucky or whatever, look at your state and then figure out how to, get your business started from the state. You got to get your state license, okay? And then you got to get your federal license as well. And then whatever employees or contractors that you hire and you pay them more than $600, get them to sign the 1099, get the information, get the copy of the ID, make sure they got a current address. And if you pay them, more than $600, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, you got to make sure you send out the 1099 to those guys as well. All right. Okay. So what do we got here? I think we got, what is this? Make sure you got to write. I don't understand what this is. All right. So then you got the next thing is sample business plan. So what we did is we went to ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you how intelligent this thing is now, right? So we've been able to just play with it for the last 3-4 months. And I'm going to show you guys on how this computer could actually set up your whole business plan from your employee payroll to the state or the county that you want to be in. If you want a hair salon, a nail salon, this computer will do all this for you. And it'll give you a good idea on how to structure that, right? So I'm just going to talk to it. And I call my ChatGPT Bubba Tunde, right? Bubba Tunde is the name of the robot that I've trained for the last 4 months. All right, so let me just talk to it, and then you guys listen to this. It's amazing stuff here. Hello, Bubba Tunde. How you doing?
Hey there, I'm doing great.
I'm doing
Thanks
well,
for asking.
thanks. Did
How
you
about
eat any
you?
goat or chicken this evening? What'd you eat for dinner?
I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I don't actually eat, but if I could, I'd probably enjoy some jollof rice
Oh,
and grilled chicken.
you got
What
good
about
taste,
you?
brother. I
What
like
about
it.
you? Thanks. I try to keep it classy.
All right, look, here's
So,
what I need
what's
you to
been
do.
on your mind lately?
All right, so I want to set up a hair salon business in Bowie, Maryland, in Prince George's County, with 1,500 square feet. I want to know the rent amount that I gotta pay. I want to know the list of equipment that I need, what kind of people I'm going to need, and then what is going to be my average burn rate. How much am I going to be burning every single month? 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 a month, and I need my potential income. And then I need you to tell me the best location to be in so I can get the most traffic, foot traffic coming into the store on a daily, consistent basis. So can you do that for me, please?
In Bowie, Maryland, a 1,500 square foot retail space typically rents for around $29 per square foot annually, which would put your rent at about $43,500 per year, or roughly $3,625 per month. For equipment, you'd need styling chairs, wash stations, hair dryers, mirrors, salon stations, reception furniture, and hair care products. You'll also need a POS system, lighting, towels, and sanitation equipment. For staff, you'll want licensed hairstylists, a receptionist, possibly a salon manager, and perhaps a part-time cleaning person. Your average monthly burn rate, including rent, utilities, salaries, supplies, and marketing, could range from $8,000 to $15,000, depending on staffing and other variable costs. Potential income depends on your pricing and client volume, but a well-run salon can generate $20,000 to $50,000 monthly in revenue, especially in a high-traffic area. For the best location, look for spaces near major shopping centers, busy streets, or popular plazas where there's plenty of foot traffic and easy access. Bowie Town Center or spots along Annapolis Road would be prime choices. I can dig deeper or refine any of these details if
All
you'd
right, so
like.
here's what I want you to do. I want you to create a business plan for me. I want you to take all this information, write it up, put it in a summary, and create a business plan for me, okay?
Absolutely. I'll put together a concise business plan summary for your hair salon in Bowie, covering the key points we discussed. Give me a moment to draft it up.
All right, when you get done drafting it up, save it and create a folder called business plan for the hair salon. Got it?
All set. The business plan summary is saved in the business plan for hair salon folder. If you need any adjustments or more details,
All right,
just
thank you.
let me
I'm done
know.
with you. I gotta go. All right. So look, this is how you use the technology, right? I mean, technology is so easy. It's a matter of asking the right questions, the right prompts to be able to get the information. I mean, you could literally create a business in less than 3 weeks, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, when you go into so I use what they call Lucid charts. So here's where I do my mind mapping, and I have an idea and a thought, and I start breaking it down into little segments, and say, look, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then this is over the years, I've created an organization chart with the roles and responsibilities of every individual on the team. And then, this is what my organization chart looks like. It has, I think it's pretty updated, maybe the last 60 days, 70 days. So I have my organization chart in terms of my admin people, operation people, what they do, how they do it, and then different people in terms of what their roles are. And then you got the inside sales team. You got the business owner, the CEO, the visionary. And this is how you guys got to be able to get organized. Now, again, in the beginning of the year, beginning of the business, you're not going to be able to have enough money to be able to hire everybody, but you can start. I need this person right now for this position to get me here. And once I get here, I need this person to do this so I can get here. It's a building block. You're building. You're constantly building, right? And that's one of the things I'm going to be able to show you guys is how to use the mind maps and then how to take your ideas and your concepts and then break it down. So if you're a realtor and you're looking to, like we have a property for sale or had a property for sale, and we were like brainstorming, like, hey, how can we get the most amount of eyeballs on this property to get it sold? What do we got to do, right? So we created a mind map, and we said these are all the different things we got to do to be able to get as many eyeballs to this property as possible, so we can get it sold, right? So everything starts with an idea, a vision, and then you start brainstorming and you start figuring things out. And we're going to show you how to, utilize this Lucid charts and the best way it works. Okay. And then when you get the idea, and then you want to figure out how to hire the person on Upworks, right? So what I do is I come in here, I want top talent, right? I want top rated, and then I want to come down here, and location don't matter, but I do want to have people that have a job success of at least 90%, and they have earned at least $10,000 of earnings. And then I want to look at their billing bill rate. So they've worked at least 1,000 hours in the last 6 months, right? I'm looking for somebody that worked 1,000 hours in the last 6 months. They've earned at least $10,000 or more, and they got a 90% success rate. Okay. Then in the terms of language, because we have a lot of Spanish and English folks, so we do a lot of the native, and then from here. Now, you pick your position, right? You want sales, you want legal help, a lawyer, You want somebody to translate, you want website development, you want writing skills or whatever, accounting. Okay. So this is how you use the software. And then once you like the people that you want to work with, you like, for example, let's say I like her. I would just, save her. And these are my categories. You got architect, you got construction estimates. You just create a category. And you say, okay, let's say I want to hire her for a admin position. And you come down here, just simply, it says create a list. And then you just, say, hey, I'm possibly looking for her to do admin work. And then as you like people, you could just add them to the list. And that's what I've done over the years is I've created different buckets and programmers, social media, recruiting agents. So I've created, I'm like since 2021. I've been doing this for a long time, but I'll show you guys how to really like get the best out of the best. And then number two, you got Fiverr, right? Fiverr.com. You could do so much out of Fiverr. And again, it's about duplicating yourself and delegating, right? Write down what you want. If I do this, this will help me get here. If I do this, this will help me get there, right? Delegate and duplicate. If you're a plumber or electrician or a roofer, or HVAC guy, you're out there the street, you're running around, you're doing service work all day long, you're dealing with clients and stuff like that. But nobody's doing your marketing. Nobody's pushing things out on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or YouTube, or they're not doing it. You got to have a marketing machine, right? If you're a realtor and you're running around showing properties and houses, but you got to have a marketing team. You got to have somebody answer the phone. You got to have somebody respond to your emails, your text messages. If you are a barbershop, a hair salon, a nail salon, a auto mechanic shop, you got to have somebody answer your phones. Build a CRM system, capture everybody's name, numbers, and emails, build your list, market to them, right? Create a funnel. Week 1, week 2, week 3, you're sending them constant emails. You're reminding them, hey, I'm your local Sunoco gas station. We have a special on brakes this week. I'm your local hair salon. We're doing nails for free this week. So you want to be able to advertise your local hyper market, right? Customers usually come within 5 miles to 10 miles from where you are. People don't come 50 miles and 100 miles away to your shop. Customers come within 5 to 10, maybe 15 miles to where you are. So hyper local marketing is what we're focused on. And then we use different tools like this to be able to get that. And then we use ChatGPT to be able to figure things out. And it's really that simple. Like I'm not smart. I just figure things out and I read and I pay attention. And I'm willing to show you guys and share this with you. And if you want to learn and you want to be able to grow your business, scale your business, get with me, talk to me, let me know. I don't care what kind of business it is. I've sat on the board of directors for almost 8 different businesses to help them scale and grow. I work with the SBA administration on L Street, Northwest DC, to help small businesses with their business plans and to get funding and to talk to small business owners on what they should be doing and not doing, because all business plans are not made to succeed. All business plans are not made to succeed. Just because you got an idea or a thought don't mean it's going to work. It's all the little things that go in the middle that makes it work. And we could talk about that. Okay, we break it down, baby. Break it down. Processes. Here's another project that we bought on 13th Street Northwest. Again, as a CEO, as a business owner, you got to have vision, right? We bought this project, and I was like, you know what? This is $1 million deal right here. They were like, what? I said, yeah, we're going to make $1 million. This is $1 million project. And we bought this project, and look, we turned it into this. We turned this thing right here into this thing right here. Same house. All right, vision. Vision. You got to be able to have vision as a CEO. You got to be able to see things that other people can't see, because you're the CEO. You're driving the ship. You're driving the boat, right? Here's another project that the before pictures, and we turned it into this. right? Vision. You think, you look at the color schemes, we analyze, I'm involved, I'm focused, I'm dedicated. And again, as a small business owner, you may have kids, you may have a husband or a wife, but at the same time, you got to make enough time. If it's worth it for you and you really want to do it, you got to get it done, baby. Even if it's 2 hours a day, wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, get your time in. Go to bed 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Get your time in, work on your business, work on your vision, right? And we'll talk about that in terms of how you can do that. Now, we are doing a live event coming up here in either Largo, Maryland or Bowie, Maryland, and we're going to show you guys on how to, right? How to really get this thing going. And if you're really interested in this, sign up. You'll see our information about the events. And then, we do work with a lot of homeowners that are absentee owners that have vacant properties. We buy homes as is. We are realtors and investors, and we do train a lot of wholesalers and realtors on how to get into business and how to scale and how to grow in this industry, in this area. All right, final words. This is your season. Don't just watch it, right? Don't watch other people build their wealth. Start building your own, right? Start building your own wealth, baby. Start getting yourself together and just manifest and breathe. You got to breathe. You got to relax. Control your thoughts, control your money. Control your thoughts, control your feelings, control your thoughts, control your anger, control your thoughts, control your results. All right. So Sid Hameed, Brickfront Properties and Construction. Hey, looking forward to talking to you, helping you, and let's scale together. Talk to you later. Amen, brother, sister. Take care.